So in this tutorial, we are going to learn with how to deploy the Angular project into AWS S3 bucket. So first of all, this is an application where we are going to load statically some employee details. We have called employee.json file. So we are going to read that employee.json file from this application. So let's start with Angular application. Here, using HTTP module, we are going to load with our employee data. To run with the employee data, we are going to start with the JSON server. So that it is going to read that static employee JSON file where we can see the employee data, whether it is available or not. So the JSON server is going to be loaded with, and it is going to read employee.json file. So in our project, we have got employee.json file. This is a file we are going to read. So the JSON server will give us a URL to open and check with the static data of employee. So by default, the JSON server will start at the port number 3000. This is a port we have got to read the employee details. So this is what is we are going to check with. So this is employee data we are going to read with. So this is the data if we wanted to load through our application. So let us run the project and we check for the output. So when you go to this application, say ngserv. So this is a project we also have in our SRC. We have got a component to display with our employee details using employee service with app component. So this is what we are going to start with. We are starting our application. So at the 3000 port, JSON server is started and the JSON application is getting used by your Angular application at the port number 4200. So let's start with our HTTP server at 4200 port. Let's look into our employee data. Before this, to make our application get ready with the production ready feature, it means we need to create a build which is production ready. So to make that production ready build to be created, go to the folder. So we need to run with the command ng build production prod. So this is a command which is going to make you a production grade Angular application with some static files. So before that, let's check with the Angular application where we are going to deploy it. So this is a build command, will take some time to create the build files for the current project where we are going to create with the production grade features. So the same steps I'm also explaining through this document where you take your Angular project to access all the static resources. This is an application. It is going to read with a simple JSON file. And in this JSON file, we need to create a production grade Angular project to deploy into AWS. So that is the reason we are making a build. This is a command you can give what we have given here. So server is getting started and here the build is started to create. So when a server is started here, let's go and check it the port number 1200. So it is loading with employee details, which is static data, static resource we are reading through JSON server. Parallelly, just we are going to also creating a build. This is the data which are getting from our Angular application where it is just running in the local server, right? We are running on a local server and we are just looking at this at the port number 4200, and this is the URL for our application. Now the same application, let us deploy onto the AWS console. So for which, first of all, we need a build to be created. Build started to create. It's still building. By the time it builds, okay, let's make our S3 bucket ready. So let's move on to so I have already logged into Amazon console, and let me search for S3 services, and let me go to the S3 console. So in the S3 console, first of all, you need to create with a bucket. I have already created with some buckets. So let me start with creating a new bucket for deploying our Angular application. So create a new bucket. You need to choose always a unique name. Angular user app. This is the app bucket. This is the bucket I am going to create with. And here you need to enable the public access for your bucket so that your applications which are deployed into this bucket should be accessible publicly. And then you just create a bucket. Enable here and then create a bucket. So your bucket is ready. Once the bucket is ready, now here the bucket name is displayed, which is Angular user, okay, a bucket. So you need to open this bucket, into which we need to upload our Angular production ready project build. So where do our project build is available? Now our project build is ready. There are certain files are created into our Angular project folder. So this is our project where there is a folder get created list in which we have got all the production ready files, static files. With these files, we can deploy our Angular application in the cloud, and we are able to run in AWS S3 bucket. So now let us copy these files into our S3 bucket. So to copy into this S3 bucket, first of all, you should choose upload here, okay? And you need to upload all your project related files, drag and drop. You just drag into this bucket so that the files are getting uploaded. You can see the files which have been created into the dist folder is getting uploaded here. And then once the files are ready, you just go here and select upload. So your bucket is getting uploaded with your Angular project files. Now the project is uploaded. Now you can see here, this is the files uploaded. So you can see the status. So status is succeeded. What are all the files are created here. Now go to close, go to the properties. You just select all these files and then go to actions. Make the action called as make public. So whenever you say public, say make public. Now your objects have become public. Now once it is done, you just close it. Next step, you have to go to properties. In a properties, you just go down and you have to choose static web hosting. In this static web hosting, you are going to select all the files and say enable. And here you are going to upload all your files which are there in the bucket, and you will be selecting the default page of your application. I just give index.html and then say save changes. So now into the bucket, we are performing with the static web hosting and our application is ready. So whenever your hosting is done, now you will be getting a URL for your static web host for your Angular project. Now you will be getting a URL. When you go here, whatever the output you are getting in the local host server. So this is in the local host you are running the data, you are getting the output. The same output we are getting through our Amazon console. So to get in the Amazon console the same output, you just go here and click on this site. So this is what is running on your Amazon, okay, S3 bucket. So in AWS S3 bucket, we are able to deploy our Angular project. With this URL, we are able to access the same application. This is how you can deploy your Angular application onto cloud. That's all to showcase your Angular project to be deployed with the S3 service to deploy the application into